Hey everyone, I am Eggs over here, and I'm going to review Arrow Season 7, Episode 5, which the episode was all about showing Oliver in Level 2, like, in the actual part of Level 2. We had Felicity, Laurel, and Dinah working together, and we had some more movement on the Argus plotline. So there will be spoilers for the episode from this point on. So I'm just going to jump right into it. With the reveal that Talia is the demon, that instantly it made me love the prison storyline even more. After last episode made me kind of iffy on the whole thing, this episode definitely brought it back for me. I'm pretty sure they kept Talia's return a secret because I had absolutely no idea she was returning. This is the first time Talia's returned since the season 5 final, Lian Yu, when it was presumed that she was left on the island and blown up with everything else and that she's dead. Although I'm pretty sure that they confirmed a while back that she's not dead. But it's the first time we've actually seen her since then, and I had no idea she was returning, so I'm pretty sure it was a secret, which is crazy good that they did that they were able to keep that. But it seems like they were kind of building Talia and Oliver were kind of had like a steady, where it was a mutual respect for each other, kind of the same as how in the comics Talia has a mutual respect for Bruce Wayne. Obviously in the comics it goes a lot deeper because her and Bruce have a child called Damian Wayne who becomes Robin, but they also before that had a mutual respect for each other. I think that's what they're trying to do here. It was also cool that she said that the reason she ended up in prison was because she ran afoul of an old foe in Gotham, and one would immediately assume that foe is Bruce Wayne or Batman. But considering how there's a Batwoman show and they seem to be trolling everything now, I'm assuming it's Kate Kane, who is Batwoman. I'm guessing she is the reference and that they can tie it in at some point if they want to. But that was all. I love that. I love that so much. And this all culminated in the two of them, in Oliver and Talia, having to work together to get out of Level 2 and to expose what is going on down there. And the fight scenes this episode, they're probably, I think the only thing that can match the fight scenes from this episode, this season, are the ones with the Archer in the premiere. They're the fight scenes with the Archer in the premiere were pretty awesome, and they're the only things I can think of that would match the prison fight scenes that we saw in this episode, because this episode was great. The end bit where Oliver just taking on all the people in riot gear by himself while Talia jumps out, that was great. And then Talia, she was in her full League gear at the end of the episode, and she took her revenge on Parker, which set up Talia to be recurring down the line, to come back down the line and do more stuff if the need arises. And that's interesting. I wonder if she's going to come into play in the rest of the season. I really hope she does, but we'll see. The Argus plotline got a lot more development as we saw Curtis out in the field, and I also really enjoyed this because a lot of the time in this show Curtis he's not very good at being out in the field, but this time he was smart, he did everything right, he was able to win the fight at the end. He was just overall a much more well-written character than he's been the rest of the season. And on top of this, it was revealed that what happened in Switzerland a few episodes ago is part of a bigger plot, and it seems that there's a huge mystery going on in Argus, and I like this. Not only does this make me more invested in the Argus storyline, but it also makes, I think episode 3 I believe was one with the Switzerland mission, it makes that better in my mind because I know it actually led to somewhere and it wasn't just a one-off kind of filler part of the episode. So there's apparently a conspiracy going on in Argus. There's a French painting, I believe, the painting's called Dante, and I was supposed to look up to see if the painting is a real thing, but I forgot. And if I do look it up and it turns out that there actually is something there, I might do a video on it on how it could tie in. But yeah, I'm just happy that they're actually doing something with the Argus plotline and not just having it like every few episodes they give us one mission with Argus and that's it, that's that mission over. No, it's actually all tying into a bigger plot. Felicity, Laurel, and Dinah was such a good dynamic this episode. I've been pretty vocal in my other reviews about how Felicity and Dinah aren't doing it for me this season. They're not very well written. But this episode, everyone was great. They're all working together. Felicity and Laurel are friends now. They were going to go on a pizza date at the end of the episode. A pizza friend date. That was really great. And I can't wait to see where this goes. I really want them to develop this as much as possible. And I just think it'd be really nice if a complete change is Laurel's steady ground with Team Arrow doesn't come from Oliver, doesn't come from Dinah, it comes from Felicity. And that's kind of crazy to think about, but I'd love if that's what they did. And Dinah, again, was, like I said, she hasn't been good the last few episodes. She wasn't amazing this episode, but she was pretty great. I had no complaints about her. And the three of them working together to get Oliver out of prison was really fun, and I can't wait to see where this goes. I think it's good that Laurel is also on board with them getting Oliver freed, because she knows that Oliver doesn't belong to be in there. And there was the scene where Felicity was talking about how this isn't fair, that her husband, she doesn't know what's happening to her husband could die, and all of that. We got it a few times. The camera panned over to Laurel and it showed her looking uneasy, and so I'm thinking that maybe she was getting flashbacks to what happened to her Oliver on her Earth, because we've gotten little hints about her backstory before, but Oliver on her Earth died, so she's probably just kind of, thinking about that, and she realizes that Felicity loves Oliver like she loved Oliver, and that's really, it's just a nice little story. Another thing I want to talk about is the Mystery Archer and the flash forwards. So for a good chunk of this episode, when I realized the Mystery Archer wasn't in the episode and there were no flash forwards, I was like, well dang, this is just confirming my theory again, that flash forwards only show up in the episodes with the Mystery Archer. But someone pointed out to me, and it completely spaced my mind, that the Mystery Archer was not in episode 2, but flash forwards were. So yeah, that ended my theory pretty dang quick. It's just every other episode with flash forwards has had the Mystery Archer, so I thought it was onto something, but I guess not. The episode ended with Silencer and Dragon going to Moscow, and when I was looking at it, I was like, this is cool, I wonder what they're doing in Moscow. I completely forgot about the KGB, or not the KGB, the Bratva. And then we pan to Dragon holding up Anatoly Knyazev, everyone's favorite Russian, and he was about to drop him off of a building, and Dragon's, he's making a promise on that he would get back at Anatoly for betraying him to Oliver last season. And yeah, so Anatoly's back in the show. This episode did such a good job of tying up loose plot lines from other episodes. We tied up the Talia plotline, which was a loose thread from season 5. We tied up the Anatoly plotline, which was a loose thread from last season. We are starting to, get proper development on the redemption for Black Siren storyline. They're not just kind of dancing around it. One problem with last season was that a lot of the time we would go back to the exact same story beats with Black Siren. One episode she would be bad, one episode she would be good, and we'll keep flip-flopping between them. This episode, it's very clear that there is progression on her storyline, and I love that. And I just really, really hope that they keep this up. And finally, I just want to mention the scene where Parker is about to inject Oliver and try and, stop him from being so violent, and then he goes, "Your name is inmate 4587, and Oliver just grabs him and goes, "My name is Oliver Queen," just like in the season 3 final, which is called My Name is Oliver Queen, when Ra's al Ghul says, "Your name is Warith al Ghul, heir to the demon," and Oliver just rips out his sword and goes, "My name is Oliver Queen." Anytime he says my name is Oliver Queen, we're in for some good stuff. But this episode exceeded the premiere for me, and it is now my favorite episode of this season of the Arrowverse, I think. I just think this episode was all around brilliant. None of the story beats were boring. All of the characters were well done. There were no boring characters. They were all well written. We got a ton of tie-ups of previous plot lines, and on top of that, the scenes were just all around well done. The fight scenes were great. The soundtrack was great. I meant to mention that. But yeah, so I would give this episode a 9.2 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you, and have a great day.